Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Rebuilding Bournemouth. My name is Jamie. Coming up on today's episode, I'm going to show you the transfers I've done ahead of the new season and the pre-season results that we've achieved, and I'll then be resigning as manager of Bournemouth, holidaying forward to the end of the season and showing you how they got on without me. So let's get straight into it, and I'll show you the results and the transfers in just a moment. Okay, here we go then with the transfers, and we began our business nice and early, bringing in Morgan Rogers on the 31st of May for £9 million from Manchester City. And as you can see, Morgan Rogers is a midfielder and striker, so he's a winger and striker, and slightly better on the left wing than he is up front, so he'll be coming in as a left winger. The next player we brought in was somebody who will be familiar to a lot of people, Dominik Livakovic from Dynamo Zagreb, again for £9 million. Dominik obviously is a reasonably well-known goalkeeper, 27 years of age now, 4-star current ability and potential, so very much going to be first choice, having played 153 games for Dynamo Zagreb. So that's Dominik Livakovic, who comes in as our first choice keeper. And we then move into the current season. The next player in the door, Daniel Ayala from Blackburn Rovers, 2.5-star ability and potential centre-back, 31-year-old Spaniard, brought in for experience to just provide a bit of cover for the centre-backs. And the next player was Nathan Phillips. He was here on loan last season. We've made his move from Liverpool a permanent one for £3.2 million. He's a 3-star centre-back, 3.5-star potential, and at 25 years of age he might reach that, he might not, but he's still going to be a very useful centre-back to have around the club. Lots of experience. Well, I say that, he's actually played only about 60 or just less than 60 games, 57 to be exact. And the next one and the final signing is Benjamin Kuščević from Palmeiras for £350,000. And he is a 26-year-old Chilean centre-back and is 3-star current ability and potential. And I'll show you now what the squad looks like going into the new season. So we've got goalkeepers Livakovic and Travers, right backs Smith and Stacey, both here last season. Ayala we've just met. Zeno Rossi has been promoted from the youth team. Nathan Phillips, we just showed you, has come in permanently after being here on loan, and Chris Mepham was here last season. We've got James Hill, although he is actually, I think, out on loan at the moment. I'm just going to hide anybody not at the club. He is indeed, so he's not here. Chris Mepham, as I said, 3.5-star current ability, here last season. And finally, centre-back, new signing, Benjamin Kuščević, who we just met. And left-backs, Lloyd Kelly and Jordan Zamora. In defensive midfield, we've got a choice of 3, Ben Pearson, Lewis Cook and Jefferson Lerma. On the central midfield, we've got Gavin Kilkenny, promoted from the youth team, Philip Billing, who was here last season. Kenneth Taylor has had his loan extended for another year, so he's going to be sticking around. And on the right wing, we've got David Brooks and Ryan Christie, both of whom who were here last season. We've got Joe Rothwell and Jamal Lowe on the left wings, and Dominic Solanke and Kiefer Moore up front, both of whom who were here last season also. So that's the squad. Let's take a look at how pre-season has gone. And as you can see, bit of a mixed bag. Started off with a couple of impressive wins over Sevilla and Real Betis. Draw with Malaga isn't a bad result. We then suffered a massive mauling at Ajax, before draws with Milan and Roma, which were impressive, and we then played slightly easier opposition in Celje and Zurich to round off pre-season and beat both of them reasonably comfortably. And as you can see from the attendances, not taken massively seriously those last two games, and the season under the new manager will open with a home match against Brighton and Hove Albion in a week's time. So that brings the roundup to a close. I am now going to resign as manager. Okay, so here it is, confirmation that I have ended my reign at the Vitality Stadium and resigned as the manager. And there are three names in the frame to take over. Niko Kovac, who's currently unemployed, Andre Villas-Boas, also unemployed, and Nigel Pearson, also unemployed. If I was the board, I'd probably go for Andre Villas-Boas, but I wouldn't rule out Niko Kovac. I would, however, rule out Nigel Pearson. I will now holiday through to the end of the season, so immediately after Bournemouth's final match of the coming season, and we will find out who replaced me and how they've got on. See you again in a moment. Okay, we have holidayed through, and the first thing to confirm is that Niko Kovac was the manager they chose to replace me. So let's have a look at how he got on. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, well, as you can see, they survived relatively comfortably, finishing 7 points clear of relegation in 15th place, with Brighton, Everton and Sheffield United going down. Everton remarkably, despite relegation, qualifying for the Europa League via presumably a cup win. So let's take a look at how Bournemouth's season panned out. We'll have a look at, first of all, and see whether they added any more players to the squad after we left, and we can confirm they did. They added Rowan McDonald on a free transfer, and he didn't really feature. He played a couple of Papa John's Trophy games and featured in 25 reserve games, but has yet to make his competitive debut for the first team. He's worth very little and is 21 years old and a defensive midfielder. Yep. So let's then move on and have a look at the other signing, Colin Dagba from Paris Saint-Germain for £1.3 million, and he joined in January and has played just 2 games, both substitute appearances in the Premier League, and hasn't really made much of an impression. He's a right back, 24-year-old Beninese right back, and we don't know anything about him at all, so can't really make any sort of judgment on him. So that's the signings. And the only other thing I'm going to show you now is just to have a look at how the season panned out. As you'll recall, we left after the friendly at the end of pre-season. If I can just scroll up for you, we left after the Zurich friendly. They only won one match in August. That was a 2-0 win against Everton. They then had to wait until November for their next win, which was 3-0 against Sheffield United. That was part of a long unbeaten run. In fact, those were largely friendlies around the World Cup. They did, however, win their first match after the World Cup against Leicester before embarking on another losing run. They drew with Southampton, beat Peterborough in the FA Cup, drew with Arsenal away, which was a surprise, but then lost 6 straight games, including an FA Cup tie against Newcastle. But towards the end of the season, form did pick up, and after that Newcastle defeat, they beat Aston Villa, beat Brighton, drew with Southampton and Leicester, beat Sheffield United and Wolves, drew with Chelsea, which is a good result, beat Everton again, and beat Manchester United on the final day of the season at Old Trafford. And as we've already seen, that secured their survival. So more than comfortable in the end. The 2 wins, Everton and Manchester United, proving crucial at the end. And that concludes the rebuilding Bournemouth project. We have succeeded. We've given them a team that was capable of staying in the Premier League. So I will be back tomorrow with a new project. So if you've enjoyed that, please leave a nice thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for Monday to Friday Football Manager videos. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and goodbye.